Hey guys, welcome to Nuggs with Nay. I'm Nasa, and here on my channel, I'm going to be providing you guys with little nuggets of cannabis knowledge, ranging from legalities to cannabis culture to just how cannabis has impacted our society today. Hopefully, I can provide you with information that'll help you on your journey to becoming a cannabis connoisseur, or what I like to call it, a connoisseur. With that said, let's just go ahead and dive in. So for this first video, I kind of want to just lay the groundwork and the foundation for cannabis itself, and that is the legalities. Let's just start with the difference between decriminalization, legalization recreationally, and medical cannabis. A lot of people tend to use recreational, legal, or legalization and decriminalization interchangeably. And this really, should be looked at because they're both very, very, very different. And it's important to be cognizant of the laws of where you are or where you're traveling to, because you're not trying to get yourself into a little predicament or situation with law enforcement just for not knowing and not being aware, especially in this climate. It's extremely imperative to know your laws. So decriminalization is the loosening of penalties when it comes to marijuana possession. Now, this does not mean that it's legal to manufacture or sell. This just means that law enforcement are trained to kind of look the other way when it comes to cannabis possession or consumption. So for example, it's Friday night, and it's, keeping it cute, and you're deciding to go out, whatever, and you're driving, and you decide to spark a J on the way to your destination, and you're speeding, and you get pulled over for speeding. Now, you roll down your window, and tons of smoke comes out because you were smoking, and now the officer is asking if you've been, consuming cannabis, and if you, have been consuming it while driving. And now you have an actual issue. Now, you got pulled over for speeding. You didn't get pulled over for marijuana. And under decriminalization, you're not going to get approached solely for consuming or having cannabis in your possession unless you are on federal property and unless you're under 21. And I assume everybody watching this video is 21 and up. And that's, you need to be mindful of that because nobody's trying to get caught up, especially, for just having cannabis on you. And under these decriminalization laws, it's kind of easy to forget or misinterpret, what is legal versus what is illegal in your state. I urge you to look up, the legalities in your own, local area, state, jurisdiction, whatever. I am in Washington, D.C. I am a medical marijuana patient in Washington, D.C. as well. So I'll also get into the medical side. Actually, let's just go ahead and get into that now. So medical marijuana can be in a recreationally legal state and can be in a decriminalized state. Medical marijuana is its own program. So in order to obtain a card, you have to get a referral from a physician, and you have to fill out paperwork at the dispensary, and those dispensaries are different than the recreational ones that you may find or have been to in LA, Washington State, Oregon, Colorado. They're gonna be different because these are treated as medical care facilities, and they are. They're treated like pharmacies, and the laws with them are a little bit different. For example, in DC, I have a certain monthly allotment of cannabis that I can purchase from the dispensary. Now, I'm not here to, praise government regulated dispensaries over, local vendors. There are pros and cons to both, but in order to obtain a medical card, you need a physician's referral. You need to purchase from your medical marijuana from a medical dispensary. Under decriminalization, let me bounce back. Now, under decriminalization, the sale and manufacture of marijuana is still illegal. So when I'm saying a medical patient should be buying from their medical dispensary, they should be, because the sale and manufacture of marijuana is still illegal to everybody else. Now there is a loophole, and I'm gonna mention it because they become quite popular recently, and that is these pop-up shops. They are not dispensaries, they're not regulated. I'm not here to put them down because, like I said, there are pros and cons, but they are illegal. Now, the loophole is people are, having these pop-up shops at a certain location. They'll invite vendors to come and showcase their product and sell their product. Now, when I say sell their product can be like a sticker or a t-shirt. And they'll be like, oh, here's a $35 sticker that comes with a free eighth of weed. Oh, if you donate $35, you'll get a free gift. And that's kind of what people are doing until it's federally legal, and they can, just share their products with the world. But unfortunately, you can still get in trouble for attending these and for putting them on. And, you don't want to get caught up shopping at one of these pop-up shops and then a raid happens. And now you put yourself, in a really difficult position. As a medical patient, like I could get my medical card, taken away and revoked, so it's important to be careful and know that the laws are different in every state, everywhere that you go. All in all, decriminalization means that one could face civil fines instead of criminal prosecution when it comes to cannabis. Now, it is still, again, I just have to keep putting this little asterisk right here because federally it's still illegal. No federal property. You can, face federal prosecution if you're caught smoking or consuming or selling on federal property, meaning, here in DC, we have the national malls, we have museums, parks, things like that. I went to Howard University, shout out HU. But Howard is a federally funded institution, so that's federal property. You can get in trouble for consuming on federal property, including your institutions. So please, 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 like I said, read, educate yourselves, do so here, and know your laws, know your rights. Now, legalization, recreational legalization. This is the abolishment of laws when it comes to personal possession and use of cannabis or marijuana, ganja, green, hash, marijuana, ganja. Like, this means if you're 21 and up, you are permitted to consume and purchase cannabis as much as you want. I'm originally from Washington State, and I've, been to the recreational shops out there, and it's a different type of vibe. It's great to see, and it's, the quality of the product is great, but it is important to note that you do have to be 21 and up. There are still laws, meaning that you cannot, again, on federal property, because it's still illegal federally, even in a state that it's legalized recreationally, you cannot consume on federal property. So there are some laws underlying the legalization of recreational marijuana that it's important to look at those, especially in this climate. So legalization actually allows the government to benefit from the tax money that is coming from these dispensaries. So these legalized, recreationally legal states are making hundreds of millions of dollars a month from marijuana sales. This money is going to, schools, roads, and the community as a whole. And it's important to note that, we should be advocating for the federal legalization of cannabis so that all the individuals that have been incarcerated for days, years, decades are able to be set free and start their lives over, continue their lives, and hopefully they're able to, get a job in the industry and kind of get their reparations, because there are companies that, like I said, making hundreds of millions of dollars for something that people are locked up for. And I'm gonna do a whole nother video on, incarcerated individuals, specifically people of color, and cannabis. But I did want to touch on that briefly, that, call your local representatives and advocate for the legalization of cannabis federally. So when it comes to legal in your state versus illegal federally, what does that really mean? This means that states cannot protect you from federal prosecution for consuming recreational or medical marijuana. However, they can protect you from civil prosecution, meaning inside of your state, like I was mentioning before, you're only really gonna get a fine, depending on what the issue is. Read up, know your local laws in your location, make a note of it, keep that in mind, lock it away, because you don't want to put yourself or anybody else in an endangering predicament with the federal law enforcement or law enforcement period. I will go ahead and mention the states that are recreationally legal. There are 11 of them, starting with Washington State, Colorado, Alaska, Vermont, Illinois, California, Massachusetts, Maine, Michigan, Nevada, and Oregon. There should be 11. I think I got them all. Those are the states that are recreationally legal, meaning if you're 21 and up, you can shop freely, show your state ID, and go about your business. I will do another video that will break down the states that are recreationally legal versus the states that are decriminalized and the states that it is still 100% illegal. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for tuning in to my first video. I hope it was really informative and you got some good little nuggets of info. Please subscribe, comment, like, talk to me, follow me on my Instagram at Nuggs with Nay with 2 G's. And thank you for tuning in.